Welcome to The Explainer. You know the look, right? Those piercing eyes, that almost wolf-like howl. Well, there's an incredible history behind that dog, one forged in ice and pure survival. Today, we're digging into the amazing story of the Siberian Husky, and trust me, it's a journey from the ancient Arctic all the way to a heroic race against death.
That quote comes from a legendary musher named Leonhard Sapala. And the natural-born leader he's talking about? That wasn't just any dog. It was Togo, a Siberian Husky who would become an absolute legend. So this is his story, and the story of the ancient, powerful breed that made him possible.
All right, so let's rewind. Our journey starts thousands of years ago in the super harsh, unforgiving Arctic terrain of Siberia. Here, the indigenous Chukchi people weren't just looking for a family pet. They needed a partner to, survive.
See, this wasn't just about breeding a good dog. This was about forging a partnership for survival, plain and simple. The Chukchi needed a companion that could haul light sleds over these vast, frozen landscapes with just incredible stamina. And these dogs became integral members of the family, creating the genetic blueprint for the modern Siberian Husky we know today. So that ancient partnership, it was put to the ultimate test back in the winter of 1925. A deadly diphtheria outbreak hit the remote, completely icebound town of Nome, Alaska. They desperately needed a life-saving serum, and the only way to get it there was by sled dog. A desperate race against time began. With no other way to reach Nome, they organized a relay, a whole chain of mushers and their dog teams battling a raging blizzard. This wasn't just one guy running, it was a massive team effort, and the fate of an entire town rested on the courage of these dogs and their humans. To really get the scale of this challenge, just look at this number. Of the 674 total miles, one single team covered 264 of them. And this wasn't just any part of the journey. It was by far the longest and most treacherous stretch, run by none other than Leonhard Sapala and his team of Siberian Huskies. And they did it in these conditions. It's almost unbelievable, right? They were facing a brutal blizzard with wind chills plummeting to 60 degrees below zero. Conditions so severe that just surviving was a miracle in itself. The leader of that team was Sapala's veteran lead dog, Togo. And get this, he was 12 years old at the time, which is practically ancient for a sled dog. In the whiteout conditions, in the darkness, Sapala had to put his complete and total trust in Togo's intelligence to guide them across the cracking sea ice. Togo's instincts and just sheer perseverance saved the entire team from certain death more than once. Now, you've probably heard of Balto, the dog who led that final 55-mile leg into Nome. He even got a statue in Central Park. But the real story, the real hero of the serum run, was Togo and his team. They covered nearly 5 times the distance, and they did it through the absolute worst of the storm.
Togo's incredible feat wasn't some kind of fluke. Not at all. It was the result of a breed that was perfectly engineered by both humans and nature to survive in the most extreme conditions on Earth.
Okay, let's break down these amazing adaptations. Their almond-shaped eyes aren't just for that striking look. They actually evolved to squint, which gives them protection from blowing snow. And yeah, heterochromia, the 2 different colored eyes, it's common, but it's their coat that is the real masterpiece of natural engineering. Think of it like natural armor. The undercoat is this soft, dense layer that traps air, providing incredible insulation against the cold. Then the top layer has longer, coarser guard hairs that repel water and even protect their skin from UV rays. It's a system that keeps them warm in the winter and, believe it or not, helps cool them in the summer. This brings us to a super critical piece of advice for any husky owner. Never, ever, ever shave them. You might think you're helping them cool off, but you're actually destroying this amazing natural thermal regulation system. You put them at risk of overheating, sunburn, and you can even permanently damage their coat. You're basically taking away the armor that nature designed for them.
So how does this heroic, Arctic-adapted history translate to the husky you see today, living in our homes and cities?
Well, that history of pulling sleds and making life-or-death decisions, it's totally hardwired into the modern husky. They are brilliant problem solvers with just boundless energy. A bored husky is going to find its own job to do, and that might be mastering how to open your back gate or, digging up your entire backyard. They need a purpose, and that means lots of exercise and mental challenges. And what about that famous howl? It's a direct link to their ancestors. See, unlike barking, a howl can travel for miles, which is pretty perfect for finding your pack in the vast Siberian tundra. Today, they'll howl to show excitement, call for their human pack, or even join in with a passing siren. It's almost never a sign of aggression. It's just them talking.
All right, that wild look and independent streak have led to some major myths about the breed, so let's bust a few of them, shall we? First, and probably the most common myth. Despite their looks, huskies are not part wolf. Genetically, they are no closer to a wolf than a golden retriever or a chihuahua is. They are a fully domesticated breed developed over thousands of years to work right alongside humans. Next up, aggression. Those piercing eyes can be a little intimidating, but their temperament is usually the total opposite of ferocious. Remember, they were bred to work together in packs and live closely with families, so they're generally gentle, friendly, and outgoing dogs who greet strangers with excitement, not hostility.
They can't be trained. Stubborn? Oh yeah, sometimes. Untrainable? Absolutely not. Their intelligence and independent streak, which, remember, was essential for a sled dog making its own decisions, it just means they need patience and consistent positive training. They get bored with repetition, so you really have to keep things engaging.
And finally, this idea that they can only live in the cold. Despite being built for the Arctic, they are surprisingly adaptable. A husky can be happy in an apartment in a warm climate, but, and this is a big but, only if their intense exercise needs are met and their owners are super vigilant about keeping them cool and hydrated in the heat.
So after all this, what's the final verdict on this complex and legendary breed? Are they heroic working partners or high-maintenance escape artists?
Well, the truth is, they're both. They are a living, breathing link to a history of survival, teamwork, and incredible heroism. And understanding that origin, that deep-seated need to run, to think, and to be with their pack, that is the absolute key to meeting their needs as a modern companion and appreciating the magnificent dog they are today.